Well everyone, by this point you probably know that Apple has gotten rid of their Pro Display XDR, which was their top of the line 6K 32-inch $6,000 monitor, and they replaced it with the Studio Display and the Studio Display XDR, which are both 27-inch 5K monitors. But I've been actually wanting to test out some other 6K monitors that are out there, and I've been waiting for this one. Hold on, let me pick it up. I've been waiting for this one to come into the studio for a couple weeks now because it's showing us the promise of it being a 6K 32-inch monitor with Thunderbolt and at just 1/5 the price of the Pro Display XDR, and it looks very, very similar to it. So let's replace what we have behind me and get this bad boy going. And let's see if it's gonna be worth it at this price point. Let's get into it. So a few months back, Apple decided to finally kill off the Pro Display XDR. It was a $5,000 6K 32-inch monitor that used mini LED and was used as a reference monitor, and the stand alone was an additional $1,000, so it was $6,000 to get that thing brand new, and it hadn't been updated in quite some time. So the new alternatives are the Studio Display, which is going to be $1,600, a 27-inch 5K panel that's 60 Hz, and then they also offered a Studio Display XDR, which remains at 27 inches, it remains at 5K, but they did make it 120 Hz. And that one starts at $3,300. So that definitely left the door open for some competition to come in as a kind of all-in-one solution that really rivals the Studio Display and Apple's monitors. And the Meirro Pro, I've been using it for a little while now, and I finally think that this is the one that people are going to finally gravitate towards as a lower cost alternative that's actually probably better on paper than the Studio Display. So let's start off with the design itself, because this thing looks like it came directly out of an Apple factory in terms of the design language that they decided to go with. It really mirrors exactly what the Studio Displays look like currently, and it's made out of full CNC aluminum, which is something that I've been looking for out of a monitor to mimic what Apple's monitors look like. And then like I mentioned, this is a 32-inch panel. It brings a stand included in the price point, and that's also made out of machined aluminum. It's very easy to set up. You just take the stand itself, you make sure that the foot of the stand is screwed in tight, and then you put it onto the rear of the actual display, and then you're good to go in terms of a setup process. And then also included in the packaging, you get the VESA mount ready to go if you do want to use it alongside some sort of monitor arm. And again, as you can see, this looks perfect in any Apple setup. It has kind of that Apple silver look to it. Like I keep mentioning, it is made out of aluminum. There is no plastic anywhere on this display, which I love to see. And it's as minimal as it gets, even including all the I/O that it brings. But in terms of the specs of the display, because again, on paper, this thing is fantastic for the price. This is a 32-inch 6K monitor, so it's a true 6144 by 3456 resolution, giving you 224 ppi. It is a Nano IPS Black panel, so again, that's the display tech that they decided to go with. And they went with a 60 Hz refresh rate, a 2001 contrast ratio. It supports 98% of the DCI P3 color gamut, 99.5 of Adobe RGB. It gives you 450 nits of typical brightness and up to 750 nits of HDR brightness. And then on the rear, you have 5 USB-C ports, one of them being a Thunderbolt port that supports DisplayPort 2.1, up to 80 Gbps, 96 watts of power delivery for any MacBook, and of course any other video, data, and power pass-through. And then you have 4 additional USB-C downstream ports. These are a little bit on the slower side, only USB 2.0, but again, we'll get into the compromises section kind of at the end of the video to see how they were able to get this price point so low. But to kind of compare it side by side from a spec standpoint, especially to the entry-level Studio Display, the Studio Display is only 27 inches, it's only 5K, and it has a 218 ppi versus the 32 inches, the true 6K panel, and a ppi of 224. They both have 60 Hz. One is going to be a Nano IPS Black panel, and the peak brightness is actually higher on the Meirro display than it is on the Studio Display. And while the Studio Display does include a static stand, the Meirro display includes a stand that is actually adjustable and fully movable. I believe you have to pay an additional $300 or $400 for the adjustable stand on the Studio Display, bringing it up to a $2,000 price point. So on paper, the Meirro wins on display size, on PPI, as well as overall resolution. Again, if you compare it to the Studio Display XDR, that's kind of a different class of monitor with mini LED and 120 Hz, but you can still make those comparisons if that's something that you're looking into. So in terms of how I've been using it, I've been putting it through its paces. This is my single monitor setup at 32 inches, like I mentioned. I actually have it routed through a Thunderbolt 5 hub. I don't have it directly routed onto my MacBook Pro, but you can actually just do that single cable solution if that's something that you want to get into. The colors are very accurate. I do a lot of video editing on this monitor, so I have my timeline up on the 32-inch panel, and then I have the actual window of viewing on my MacBook Pro panel. So again, I'm able to use both of them in the best of their capacity. but then also for productivity tasks. I have multiple windows open at the same time for my personal finance tasks. I have a lot of things that I'm planning in the background as well. So I'm able to use things like the Notes app with ChatGPT while YouTube videos running, while I'm taking notes, while I'm researching. So the 32-inch panel not only gives you more size overall, but then if you combine that with a 6K resolution, you can really fit pretty much anything or as much as you want on this display. And that's what really gives you a leg up compared to the 5K panel. And what I do like about the IPS Black panel specifically is that the IPS Black panel does give you richer blacks. Of course, not as much as an OLED or maybe even a mini LED, but compared to a regular IPS panel, the IPS panel Black is going to give you richer colors and just deeper blacks overall. Now, the display itself does have a glossy anti-reflective coating on the front of it. This isn't a matte finish display, and they don't have that option as of right now. So just know that you do have a glossy anti-reflective coating on top of it. But even in a room where I have a lot of natural light, a lot of windows open, there isn't a ton of glare or any glare that's really going to get in the way of anything. You might see some every now and then, but when I'm viewing it normally, it's totally fine. And then also, like I said, those 750 nits of pure HDR brightness does help out to kind of level off that brightness that's coming in from the windows. And the biggest selling point for me, aside from the display itself, is just the build quality. I've actually tested things like the 6K Ultrafine, and while that is a decent display and it works well in a lot of situations, it was made out of plastic, it was flimsy, it wobbled, versus this one, this is made out of CNC machined aluminum. So even in a sit-stand desk, when I have it at the highest height of the sit-stand desk and I'm using it and have my elbows kind of leaning on the table, most monitors would wobble a ton. This one barely wobbles, if at all, because of how the stand is created and how it's made, very similar to the studio displays that we see on the Apple side. Another little tidbit that's included in the packaging is going to be an IR remote to be able to handle all your settings, because there's no buttons at all on the display. So if you want to get into the menu, you have to use this remote that's included. It looks eerily similar to an Apple TV remote from last generation, which is kind of funny, but that's how you get into the settings and mess around with that as you do see fit. And what's nice to know is that you can get over-the-air software updates on this display whenever Meirro does want to push those, because again, this is going to evolve as you're using it over time. And then another great design choice that Meirro did is that they included the power supply in the display. So there isn't a giant brick like, again, the LG Ultrafine, which I do have a review coming out on that one relatively soon. That one has a gigantic power supply that hangs off the monitor. It is an eyesore. It's hard to hide because of the cable management. This one, the power supply is built into it, so there's no worries of anything kind of hanging off of it, weighing it down. But again, when it comes to a value standpoint, that is still the superpower of the Meirro display. For $1,200, you get the display itself, the stand, the VESA mount, and that remote like I mentioned. And then on the other side, the studio display starts at $1,600, and every little upgrade is going to cost you going up to $2,000 if you just want to have the adjustable stand. But now, what compromises were made? Because people are going to ask the question, sounds almost too good to be true. On paper, it sounds amazing. Were there any compromises made to get that price point a little bit lower? So the first one is that there is no built-in webcam. So if you do want a webcam solution, you're going to have an external webcam or use maybe continuity camera on your iPhone for that to be a fact. Studio Display does have a built-in webcam. The second thing is that there are no speakers on this display whatsoever. Some displays add some tinny speakers in there just to kind of say that they have speakers, but this one decided to forego the speakers completely, so there are no audio capabilities coming out of the displays, so you either need to use the speakers on your MacBook or speakers on your Mac, or again, some external speakers. And then you have the port selection like I mentioned on the rear. It is 5 USB-C ports. One of them is going to be a fast port, like I mentioned, a Thunderbolt port, but the other 4 are a little bit on the slower side. So that's why I have it connected to an external Thunderbolt hub, because I like to connect more things to that in terms of being able to have SSDs attached to it and things of that nature. So again, it'll still be able to get the job done in a bunch of situations, especially if you plug in a webcam or plug in some external speakers, but it is going to be a USB 2.0 port, and there's 4 of them on the rear. But those are all the compromises that I saw that were being made to begin with. I mean, for the most part, I have an external webcam already. I use external speakers already, so I had that around me. So there wasn't a huge issue in terms of a value standpoint and a compromise standpoint, but this monitor gets my stamp of approval. I like the value you get. I like the fact that it looks pretty much like an Apple product. They were able to finally make something that was metal, that had a built-in power supply, that was 6K, was 32 inches, and was able to handle all of your Mac OS workloads, and it's been working magically so far as a single cable solution monitor. This would get my recommendation if you are looking for something that's relatively similar to a studio display. And again, 27 inches for a studio display that's $1,600 seems a little bit small. Most people in that world might even need to get 2 of them to really kind of open up exactly what you're doing. So 32 inches I think is a great sweet spot in terms of a size where you still only need one single monitor and you're still able to get a lot of work done on it without needing to get a secondary monitor. So overall, I do recommend this one over a studio display if you want to save some money and also get a little bit more on paper from a spec and resolution standpoint. But you know exactly who you are if you're on the market for one of these. Let me know in the comment down below what you think. Could this replace a studio display for you? Are you kind of looking into getting one? Are you in the market for one right now? Are you sad that Apple stopped releasing the Pro Display XDR? This is not really a replacement for the Pro Display XDR. That thing was an insane piece of hardware with the type of display tech that it had, but as of right now, this seems to be the only real 32-inch 6K option that's out there that's made specifically to fit into the Mac ecosystem. So let me know in the comment down below what you think. If you didn't make it to the end, leave a little dolphin so I know you made it to the end. And always curious to know what you guys are thinking about when it comes to a monitor. Is $1,200 too much for a monitor to begin with? Are you in the market for that type of price point for a monitor? Always curious to know, but if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, check out one of these videos right here. Until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everyone.